I'm happy to say I was able to cancel or postpone my other engagements because this is such an important event. And I'd like to start by thanking ISICO and NGIC for taking the initiative to organize this event, because I think it's really, really very important. I'd like to spend a few minutes to think why that is. I think the crisis in Ukraine has made all of us reflect on what our responsibilities are and what we can do in this crisis, which has been, as many have said, is not a local crisis. It's really a crisis for all humanity that could change the direction of our progress. And I think the message that you're started with, Emil, is so important because it's not just the military that are fighting or the national governments that are arguing for support. We all have a responsibility. And I think this conference sets a tone and an example for what we all need to be doing to reflect on whether we're very close to the crisis, as you are in Romania and our friends in Poland are, or we're at the other side of the world. There is something that we can all do, organizationally as well as individually, and this sets the tone for it. The Academy had very vigorous debates as to what position we should take on this. The board was unanimous in condemning the invasion, but we never had in our history an instance where we took a partisan view in outwardly. We condemn violence before we've condemned war, we've condemned nuclear weapons, but to actually condemn the specific actions, we were compelled to it by the intensity and seriousness and global implications of the event. But it made us really consider what our position is. We've now constituted, or in the process of constituting, a working group of legal experts from around the world to look at whatever happens in Ukraine. We shouldn't lose the lessons that are learned here, even if the fighting ends, even if the humanitarian aid were to stop this horrific events. We must look and how can we prevent its repetition, and what changes are necessary in international law in order to prohibit this crimes of aggression to ever happen again. What can we learn from it? Secondly, we're starting work with the United Nations in New York on a global campaign on a new concept. It's not a new, on the concept of human security. For 70 years after the end of the Cold War, we've been having security defined in terms of the security of nation states. We measure our security in terms of our weapons. But what about the security of people? Today, we're facing huge crises, whether it's what's happening in Ukraine is affecting people all over the world and will very much in future. The COVID crisis, which we've just been through, and of course, climate change. These are all greater security threats than any war that we've had since World War II. And yet they won't be supported by $2 trillion of military spending. They won't be supported by national armaments. We need a new conception of what security is. And we need institutions that are rethinking this and arguing for it at the national and global level in our educational and research institutes as well. We're also working on another initiative to look at not only root causes, but permanent solutions for this. And I think we know that these problems didn't just start this year. They go way back to the end of the Cold War. And the root causes, we have yet to build a global system of cooperative security to replace this old paradigm of competitive security. And institutions all over the world have a responsibility not just to condemn the violence today and the suffering today, but to really try to move forward to new conceptions. And I believe what you are talking about and the initiative that the organizers have taken on this today shows that really the responsibility is much wider. I really applaud the graciousness and generosity of Romanian people and Romanian institutions that have been opening your hearts and homes and schools now to embrace the refugees. But I think there's much more that can be done, not only by institutions who are on the borderline between East and Western Europe, but institutions all over the world can be opening up in educational opportunities, even teaching opportunities, research opportunities, even if they're going to be conducted online from a distance. We know that can be done. And so I applaud this and encourage us to think about how the model that you're demonstrating here can be extended much more widely to educational institutions, to national academies and global academies and research institutes all over the world. There's something all of us can do, and we need not stop there. The NGO community, thousands, tens of thousands of NGOs around the world, not just those who are on the front lines, not just those who are raising money. There are other things that we can be doing as well. And I hope that this conference can lead to a call, not only to those in the region, but to those globally, to global civil society, to ask ourselves what we can do and how we can contribute to addressing this crisis. Thank you.